Monet, why you lying? Why you lying, girl? What's up, fam? It's your girl Q back at Blessed to Be a Blessing, where we are blessed to be a blessing. Thank you so much for tuning back into my channel. Shout out to all of my blessed ones. If this is your first time here, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Also, go ahead and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos. All right, and so first off, y'all forgive my voice. I don't know, I'm just a little bit hoarse, but we'll get through it. All right. So, you know why we're here. I'm not going to keep you long because I cannot wait to talk about it. Okay. Power Book 2 Ghost Season 2 Episode 7 Forced My Hand. Honey, it was all over the place. All over the place, y'all. Anyway, without further ado, first and foremost, Lorenzo, child, he done turned Drew into a stone cold killer. He basically is having Drew as his right-hand man, which I told y'all about that last week, right? It opened up with them killing Reno. Reno is the other little drug dealer that's running the streets right now, because, you know, Lorenzo, he coming through kicking down the doors, honey. He free, he ready to get back in the game, and he taking over the streets, okay? So they done killed Reno. Mind you, he let Drew kill him. Ain't that something? Lorenzo is a trip. You hear me? So, Reno was laid up with some chick when they bust in on him. So, another dude, I guess that's working for Lorenzo, one of his little workers or whatever, Lorenzo was like, you gonna take care of her? Honey, the man went and shot her too. Lorenzo was like, no loose ends. So that's his thing for this season, or for this episode, no loose ends. So Drew was like, what? Because he had already threatened the woman, like, you're not gonna say nothing, is you? I ain't gonna hear about this issue. So, yeah, that wasn't good enough. Lorenzo went ahead and murked her too. Boom, so that's that. Honey, guess what Dante did? Dante was watching. Remember last week? I think I told you last week he was sitting outside the basketball court watching our boy Zeke, Mr. Fadoof. I don't know why they let this young man be such a dumb jock. But anyway, he was outside watching him. So he decided to come to the court and was like, oh, what's up? You know, yeah, that's a good shot. You know, so Zeke like, you know, what's up? He ain't paying no attention, just practice on his little shot or whatever. So Dante's like, bet you got like 1 foot is half size bigger, so here go for doof. He's like, yeah, how you know that? So he's like, cause they running our family. Honey, yes he did. He done went ahead and told Zeke that he was his daddy. Okay, he said, I am your father. He was like, ask your mama, ask her where you got your name from. Showed him a tattoo of a Bible verse, Ezekiel something another, that he got tattooed on his arm. He said he had it since he was 16 and his mama was with him when he got the tattoo. Honey, but let's not forget that Zeke thinks that his auntie, I'm assuming that he thinks his auntie is his mother, okay? Because we all know Monet is his mother. He the only one that don't know the whole thing. So anyway, he goes and he tells Monet, Monet rose up on him on campus and like, where you been? Because they were supposed to be meeting up with some basketball scout and all this, because, you know, all she doing is trying to hold him as a retirement plan to get out the game. So he didn't show up. So she comes in pissed off. Where was you at? This is that. He like, I gotta go. She like, where are you going? He like, I gotta go talk to my mama. I gotta go talk to her because this man came and told me that he was my daddy. Honey, Monet look was like, she ain't know what to do, honey. I said, that's what she get. So I'm thinking, okay, this is my girl chance to go ahead and tell him, look, I'm your mother. That man really is your father. And baby, no, it didn't go that way. She like, sit down, Zeke, let me tell you something. So she tells him, your father is in prison for life. He's like, what? Why? She's like, I don't know. That's all I know. I just was sworn to never say anything about it. Monet, why you lying? Why you lying, girl? So now I'm like, okay, here she go. I'm losing respect for Monet episode by episode, okay? So then he's like, okay, she's like, yeah, your mother, this, and that. Steady trying to talk to this boy like she ain't his mama. So he like, dang, she like, I told you, just beware. Forget that man. He's like, well, he had a tattoo. She like, forget that. Who you gonna believe, me or a stranger? She was like, just forget that. I told you, now that you on your way to the league, people gonna be crawling out the woodworks trying to get on, So boom, she just swayed him over again with his little dumb self, easily manipulated. Well, you know, I ain't even gonna call him dumb because he trusts her, because you should be able to trust your family members, right? But if you've been living long enough, like I have, you know you can't trust none of them some of the time. Anyway, so I digress. So boom, that was that. So honey, Miss Diana, y'all know she Lorenzo went ahead and told her she can go to school. But she used to go to this other school because, of course, Monet don't want her going to Stansfield because she's trying to get next to Tariq, okay? And I knew from the very first episode of the first season, Tariq and Diana, they going to be together, okay? They have the most in common. They ain't got a lot of each other about their lifestyles, about their parents, about the drug dealer, none of that. So to me, he would be more suitable with her. Long story short, she comes to his room where he on house arrest or whatever, and she like, look, giving him that eye. So Tariq like, look, we got to be, it's two things you got to be sure of. One, that you are sure. So she leans in and kisses him. I'm sure. Then two, that you could not ever let Monet know. And she like, oh, say less, honey. So basically she was just saying the only reason Monet didn't want them together is because of the drug dealing, or that he was working for her. So now that he ain't working for Monet no more, hey, Diana feel like it's a free game. I can go ahead and get him. So, honey, Miss Diana done lost her little virginity to Tariq last night. Child, I hope Tariq don't break her heart because they got my little play son up in here, Tariq, looking like a little hoe. I don't appreciate that, y'all. Okay, y'all done had him sleep with all three of them girls. Stop this mess. Speaking of, honey, Miss Lauren comes to the door before Diana got there and was like, Tariq, I'm sorry. I just been judging you like everybody else. And then he like, yeah, my lawyer told me it's not good for me to talk to you. Diana shows up. She comes in the room. Lauren looking like, yes, honey, he on to the next up. Slam the door in her face. He don't need to be with Lauren anyway. Okay, Lauren, she's a good girl, but he can't even be real. He can't even tell her who he really is. And then now that she showed him he can't trust her, or she doesn't have his back, honey. And let's not forget, they just hinted a little bit about her possibly getting ready to testify against him. He don't know that fully yet. So it's about to be on and popping, baby. He done with her. Okay, so moving right along. Honey, Drew and Kane got into a serious fight. And when I tell you, Drew was handing Kane the business. You hear me? He rushed him up until some like little curio, some little curio stand or whatever in the house, honey. They smashed that all up. They rolling in the floor and tussling. But honey, it was a funny fight because I ain't seen nobody swing on each other. Maybe because they brothers, they ain't really want to bust each other in the face. And that's good. But at the same time, child, that ain't no fight. Y'all wrestling. So Lorenzo comes in and he breaks it up. He's like, what's going on? Kane like Drew little boyfriend, his little snitch boyfriend. He mad because his boyfriend is snitch. So Lorenzo like, wait a minute, what? Your boyfriend a snitch? We can't have no loose ends. So you know what that means. Murking season. Everett's got to go. Okay? So Kane told him, if you don't handle it, somebody else will. And y'all know Kane ain't got no problem killing and shooting, pulling the trigger or shooting nobody. Okay, they done trained him on how to be a killer and then trained him how to be dumb, and now they don't want him to do nothing. Speaking of dumb, Kane and Ezekiel belong to Monet, right? They keep saying how Kane ain't smart enough for this, Kane ain't smart enough for that. We all know that Ezekiel is a fadoof, just dumb, right? A dumb job. So does that mean that dumb gene comes from Monet's side? Anyway, I digress. So, boom, that's that, right? So, next thing you know, Drew is staking out Everett. And he's, trying to get it together to go ahead and kill him. Because Lorenzo done told him, no loose ends. So, as he's, like, running up behind him or whatever, sneaking behind him, he was going to kill him right on the street, child. Drew is a killer, too, okay? Let's not get that twisted. So, while he's, like, walking up behind him, sneaking up behind him, every little dingbat self, he's texting. So Drew gets the text and he like, oh, so he stopped, reads the text and say, what you doing? I miss you. Child, Drew done got all watery eyed. He can't do it now. He gonna text him back, I miss you too. I'm on my way to come see you. You stupid, okay? Because what's gonna happen is your little heart gonna get in the way of that gangster life, and Lorenzo gonna be down with him, okay? He ain't gonna have no choice but to fall back on Kane. Because Kane is vicious and Kane ain't got no heart, and they train him to be that way. And he ready at all costs to do what he got to do to be your right-hand man next to his daddy. Okay? So, boom. And Everett lived to see another episode. We'll see, though, because next episode, I think he going to be gone. Speaking of who need to be gone, Miss Kara Dad. Y'all, I'm so sick of Carrie. I don't know what to do. But I tell you what. last night they had a memorial for Jabari, and child, for whatever reason they had her as the speaker. Now the dean tried to come and tell her, nah, this is not gonna be good, because it was all around campus, child. Everybody done heard that she screwed Jabari, she was screwing Zeke, that she a little so don't nobody want to hear nothing from her. So the dean like, Carrie, I don't think this is gonna be good. So Mr. Tate, my boy Rashad Tate, he was eavesdropping, of course, and he comes through and he's like, oh no, dean, that sounds sexist, and that sounds this and that. Let's just go ahead and say that we're being feminist and put a scarlet letter A on her and say we're casting her out because of what they're saying about her. So she's feeling like, okay, yeah, happy that Tate done stood up for her so she can get her chance to speak at Jabari's memorial, because clearly she apparently really wants to do so. So the dean's like, oh yeah, well, great point, Professor Tate. Okay, well, go ahead, Carrie, you can do it. Honey, that was the worst thing they could have ever done. And we all know Tate. Tate is only looking out for anybody because he looking out for himself. Okay, so right when the dean leaned, Carrie's like, now what you want? Why you do that? What do you want? He was like, that does come with a +1, don't it? Because see, he want to get in there because he trying to get next to the Weston. So in that photo album, there's a picture of Sweeney and Braden's daddy, Mr. Weston, in there dressed as O.J. Simpson. Now that's who Sweeney was dressed as, with a bloody knife for Halloween. This is, and Mr. Weston was dressed as a dead Nicole. Now, first of all, that ain't funny, okay? Second of all, it ain't funny worth a dang, okay? So, anyway, also, the very worst part of it is that Sweeney has blackface on. Baby! Now, you know that's some good tea for Mr. Tate to get him up out of office, okay? Because he gonna get that congressional seat. That is all Tate is trying to do. So, honey, Braden was like, Tariq, I can't let you use that picture. I can't do that to my family. Tariq like, oh yeah, you always hollering how you don't want to be like your family. You don't want to live off of white privilege. But then when it's about to be taken away from you, now you threatening, you scared. Yeah, Braden, which side of the fence you gonna be on, okay? Because I'm already pissed at the fact that you share that room with Tariq and they immediately just put that doggone detective's badge on Tariq. Ain't nobody said nothing about investigating Braden yet. Okay, little racist. Anyway, so boom. So Braden's like, I can't let you do it. Well, that's okay. So Tariq goes and tells Tate, because he got to give Tate something, because Tate helped him get out. He got to give him something. So Tariq goes and tells Tate about the picture. So that's why Tate wanted to get into that memorial service, because he knew that Braden's daddy was going to be there. Braden's whole family was there because Braden's daddy is an alum. So all the alums sit on the little chair or whatever, and they always come. So, honey, while they there, Tate comes and Tate comes over to him. He's like, oh, hey, speak to him and stuff. And so he's like, oh, hey, Councilman Tate, they speak back or whatever. And so Tate was like, listen, I just want to let you know. Honey, he tried to bribe the man or blackmail him, and was like, I got this little picture of you and Mr. Sweeney. If you don't want this to get out, I'm trying to let you know that you part of it, but I don't want this to touch you. But if you go ahead and tell your boy Sweeney to step down, you ain't got to worry about it. And once I get in, I can go ahead and give you that kickback or whatever. So, Mr. Weston, I don't take likely to blackmail. Tate was like, oh yeah, but what about blackface? Oh, boop! That's what you get. Honey, I was like, now what you gonna say? Weston's face was like this. Right. Because you gonna go down too, okay? So, boom, while he was saying all of this stuff, Braden had went off to go get a drink or whatever, and he comes back and he overhears it. So he like, oh my God, he know where it came from. He know it came from Tariq. But, oh well, he about to find out, honey. Tariq is like his daddy Ghost, okay? That's why this is called Power Book 2 Ghost, okay? Because he's just like his daddy. And whatever he got to do to save himself, it don't matter what it does to anybody else, he gonna do it, okay? Boom, so that's that. Miss Lauren, she all in her feelings because she done realized that Carrie done used her, and now Carrie got her having to testify against Tariq. So she feeling some kind of way about it. She pissed with Carrie, so she just done with her, okay? And then the other black girl from the classroom, whom I'm just finding out is the girl, the rapper, light-skinned Keisha, who ain't really light-skinned, but anyway. So those two and Professor Carrie Milgram, they're the ones up there to do the speech or whatever. So her name is Rushandria, light-skinned Keisha. That's the character she's playing. So Rushandria does like the introduction, and then Lauren goes next to introduce. Well, Rushandria doesn't do the full introduction. She passes it on to Lauren for Lauren to do to introduce Carrie. So Lauren's all dry with it, like, Carrie Milgram, So while Carrie's up there and she's trying to give her a little speech, talk about how Jabari has such a big heart, honey, Rushandria was like, well, was it in his pants? And so Carrie's like, so everybody in the audience like, wait a minute, ain't that the one? Didn't she? Honey, she done slept with the ball player too. Yeah, that and the professor child. Oh, she just a little hoe out here. Honey, everybody, she couldn't even get the speech out because everybody was so busy gossiping about her. That's what she get, okay? That's what you get for being a so-called sex addict. I don't know why hoes always trying to call themselves a sex addict. You ain't no sex addict, you a hoe, okay? So anyway, honey, she ran off the stage. So, of course, Tate took this as his opportunity to slide on in. So he comes to the office and she cries. She's like, what is it? Yo, get out. I don't want to hear it. You're just going to say it's not that bad. He said, no, it is bad, okay? So he was just letting her know. What he was doing was trying to console her, make her feel comfortable with him. Because Tate trying to get them draws, and he ain't stopping at no cost, okay? He already knows she weak, okay? Men can read women like her. So he know it just takes a certain 2-3 things, he'll be able to get them draws just like everybody else. So, boom. He lets her know that, no, sometimes things happen, you fall, you can get back up, and, I'm the same way, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, you need anything, and he just left, right? So she's like, feel like she got a new friend at Tate, because at this point ain't nobody her friend, so he got her, okay? So I'm expecting by episode 8 next week, Tate gonna be in them draws. I guarantee you, okay? So boom, that's that. Now Monet went to Dante and went off on him for coming up to Zeke and telling him who he is. So she's like, that's not part of the deal. Dante like, no, you're not keeping the deal, okay? The deal was that I was gonna be able to tell him who I am. So she's all pissed off about that. You stay away from him, this and that. Honey, she can't stop that man. Because remember last week, he went ahead and told Kane, go ahead and tell your daddy I'll meet up with him. So sure enough, he meets up with Lorenzo, baby. And so Dante and Lorenzo knows him as Mecca. They end up making a deal. And Mecca's like, okay, you can have all of my dope. So he done cut Kane out. Because, Kane and Monet had that little side deal that they was going to try to do and keep working with Tariq to come up with the other $250,000 that they owe Davis so that Davis can keep their name out of whatever's going on in Tariq's case. Well, child, that's probably not going to happen, okay? Because Mecca done gave all the dope to Lorenzo now. Lorenzo dapping him up, shaking hands with him. He don't even know, honey, that's your wives. Baby daddy. So this is about to be some interesting tea. And I think Mecca is the number 1 player in this game, okay? And my boy gonna win. Boom. Moving on to my boo, Davis McClain. Honey, Davis goes to get in his car. He walking in the garage to go get into his Bentley, okay? Because y'all know he paid because he all about that dollar. Honey, who in the back seat don't try to come up behind him with a gun to his head? Kane, dressed in black like a ninja, looking stupid. Tell me, you better keep my name out that case. Keep our name. You better, no, this is what he said. You better make sure that these murders go down on Tariq. So Davis like, already knowing who it is because they done figured out it was Kane already, right? They just can't get Tariq to snitch. Tariq ain't gonna snitch. He's not gonna do it. So anyway, Davis like, look, if you kill me, you pull that trigger, I'm the only one that can help make sure that this doesn't get to you or it doesn't come back on you. So as long as I can protect Tariq, it protects you too. So don't be stupid. So Kane gets out the car thinking he done something. Davis like, yeah, and tell your mama I said hi, Kane. Kane is, see, that's that stupid stuff that they be talking about right there. He done went and got messy. He ain't have to do that. Anyway, speaking of Tariq taking a deal, honey, so they done brought my girl Tamika back, okay? Tariq had to call Tamika because he needs some help. He's like, what to do, right? So Tamika and Sax and Jenny, the prosecutor right now of the case, the one that Sax is sleeping with, they all come to Tariq's place and they like, look, we got it for you. We got you 5 years. If you go ahead and give up the shooter, and then we put your Yas in foster care, and then put Big Mama in the rehab. Once she get out of rehab, she can have Yas back. Then everybody good. Tariq like, no, that ain't fit to happen. Y'all is crazy. I'm not doing no 5 years, because then that's gonna leave Raina out open, Raina and his grandmama, for him being a snitch. That's not gonna be safe for him in prison, and then they might even come after his family for him snitching. So Tariq's like, nah, he going by street code. He ain't got time for that. So Jenny's like, her and Sax, they just don't understand. I'm like, chap, like David told Sax, you don't understand the streets, okay? That boy ain't fit to give up nobody, and 5 years ain't never good. He was like, Sax, you don't know what you're talking about, okay? 5 years is terrible for him in prison. That ain't safe. And plus, Davis's motto is he never cuts deals. Never. He just win, win, win. So he went off on Sax. He was like, oh, you don't went behind my back trying to cut a deal with Tariq? And Sax, that's the only way you can win. And the only way you can win. Because, see, y'all got to understand, Sax is really a prosecutor. So all he wants to do is consider Tariq as guilty and going to lock him up. Plus, he hate Tariq because he hated Ghost. And that's just how I can't stand Sax. I cannot stand him. Okay? He need to be murked and get up out of here. I'd be glad when Davis uses him to get his brother out of prison so Sax can kick rocks. So anyway, so yeah, he ain't understanding nothing. And Davis is like, bruh, like, you don't know what you doing, okay? So you shut up and don't you be doing nothing like that. So we gonna see what's gonna happen, because next week Tariq gonna go ahead and go to trial. We gonna see what's gonna happen. I personally feel like Tariq is not getting ready to go down, y'all. He ain't. But he got a dilemma, because he and Kane met up, and Kane's like, look, Mecca done cut off the supply. We ain't got no dope. So Tariq like, how I'm supposed to pay my lawyer? What do you mean I got trial tomorrow? You know, Kane like, sound like a you problem to me. He's so busy hating on Tariq and being jealous and don't care that he don't even understand if Tariq go down, he gonna go down too. Okay? I'm glad Tariq ain't no snitch, but at the same time, child, I want Kane to go down for Ramirez, because he is the one that killed Ramirez. They don't care about that black Professor Jabari. They don't care nothing about that. It's just another black man slave. They don't care about that. Okay, let's be real. Okay? But that officer that got killed, honey, that color blue is much more important to them than a black man. So they really want to get whoever killed that officer, and that's Kane. And I think Kane need to go ahead and get locked up and end up just like his daddy was, locked up, okay? So, whew, that was tonight's recap. Honey, it was explosive. I hope y'all caught it. Go ahead, like, share, comment below. Let me know your thoughts. What are some of your predictions? And, you know, looking forward to next week. So, y'all have a blessed and prosperous week. Thank you again for tuning in, and good night.